good heart these days is hard to find. Being gentle with this heart of mine. We're going to continue in trading after work. And a warm welcome to one and all. And for those of you who have not seen me before, my name is Langers, and I am the coffee obsessed Scruffy trader. And it's been a long day today. I've been quite busy all day today. But as I said to the guys in Discord group, I'll do this for them, where I'll trade after work. Now the idea on this account is just to build it up gradually. So we did a 30-day challenge on it, did quite well on it. And the idea of that was to trade once a day for 30 days to give you a benchmark. We withdrew a bit of money out of that, if you saw that challenge. And then we started this one with £500. And the idea is to trade it round a day job. So you're kind of starting before 8 o'clock in the morning, or you're starting kind of after 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Well, it's currently coming up 5:45, and I'm just switching the screens on, and we're going to see if we can have a little setup and get some pips out of it. Now the idea is to get around 10 pips. Now the volatility dies down on a night time, so got to be a little bit conservative. If you only get 5 pips, you only get 5 pips. But if you see something that can give you sort of 10 pips, then more's the better. Because the one thing I don't want to do is run these overnight. I had to run the FTSE overnight yesterday. Came out in my favour, but it's not something you want to go to bed on. Not if you're day trading it or doing short-term trading. If you're setting it up, result. So let's fire the screens up and have a look at what we're looking at. Okay, so the scores on the doors, if I pull this over, is this, as you can see, £500. We've grown it since the 2nd of November by 27%. So it's just edging up, but I'm also edging the bid sizes as we go. And at this moment in time, if I just drop that onto there, we can do 67p per position. All right. Now, ideally, depending on the market, you might be able to open up 2 positions. But we're looking at a single position of 67p. That's the general gist of what we're trying to achieve. Now, when I'm looking at this window, there are a number of opportunities. The DAX is looking pretty good at this moment in time. In fact, it's looking really good. And if you saw the trade that I put up earlier on today, it was an upward move. But what goes up must come down. So that quite interests me at this moment in time. But so does oil. Oil is this one here in the top corner here. It's a volatile market, and as you can see, it has royally dropped off. So let's have a quick flick onto this so we can see it. Now, why do I like it? Because of that. That is lovely. But so is this. It's found this level, and it is stalling heavily on it. Now, if I flick this over on this side, this looks pretty darn good. But let's have a look to see what's going on a little bit further up. See, that's a pretty straight drop, a little bit of a reprieve. Put that onto the hourly and see what's going on. Well, that's just thumped straight down. It can't continue to do that. But what's happened here before is this level is pretty substantial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little look at this, analyze it a little bit more, because let's have a look. In fairness, it's not far off now. So this is a very good contender at this moment in time, based solely on this level. Okay, the level and the sheer velocity of that drop, because it can't continue. You know, that started at 2 o'clock for sort of the American Open. Sell, sell, sell. Somebody's got to give. Even if it's just a small pressure release, it will pay me. So I'll keep an eye on that, but I'm just keeping close eye on this level. The FTSE has had a nice little run up, but it's dying down. I don't really want to trade the FTSE because it's a bit slower. If we look at the DAX, this is pretty darn good. We can see that's moving down. Let's have a quick look at that. See what this has to say for itself. It's moving down. That looks pretty nice. Maybe he's missed the boat a little bit on that. Then we have cable. Now this is something I traded most of the day. Again, that's on a merry journey down, and there's a good opportunity for it to get here, but it's slowing down slightly, and you can see that here. So I think, looking at this, my best trade is possibly oil. Now, if I'm reasonably conservative with this, you can see it's trying to push up, it's pushed down, but it's having another go. We may get a quick order out of this. So we're at 67p, which we should be able to, we can get in. It's 540 for a trade on this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to target about there, and we're going to see what happens with this. Very, very simple trade, guys. It's basically a pressure release is what I'm looking for, and the idea is for it to get in, quickly relieve a bit of pressure. This here, what we can see, and then push it up into this quick bunch here. Now if I can get somewhere 15-20 pips out of it, I'll monitor it. Result. That'll do me for the night. So I'll let it run, and I'll come back to you when the trade's over. Okay. Okay guys, trade's complete. Just been freshening up, made tea. So that's how easy trading can be. You don't have to be a slave to the screen. But what did I do, and why did I do it? Well, let's update the sheet first. As you can see, it's smashed out. 872 and 27p. Okay. So we'll update that first, and then I'll talk you through it. So we had one trade at 57, which was 872, scaled out of that one, and 27p, which was only 10p. Now we have completed what we needed to do, because we're looking for 5 and 5. In other words, greater than 5 pips across the trades that I'm running. So it's the 10th today. Yes, we have, completed it. We were doing oil today. And again, I look at the 1 hour and I'm in a nice good mood. So what will happen tomorrow? Well, if we look at it this way, we were at 67p on that one. We completed. It means we can start tomorrow as 70. Okay, is that right? Have I put that in the right place? No, not quite. Drop that there. That's where it wants to live. So we can start tomorrow at 70p with our chosen market. Okay, and as you say, it's edged up. We're now just shy of 30% growth, and we are ticking along quite well with 276 pips. Now, the idea of what I'm showing you is not to do with money. It's to do with process. And if you can imagine what your 276 pips would be, if you had £2 a point or £5 a point, whatever your balance is, you will see that it will sharp mount up. Now, the premise of this trade was some pressure release. That's all it was, which is why I wasn't swinging for the fences with it. I just wanted to get in because it was a high probability that this was going to release some pressure. Why? Well, if we look at the hourly, it hadn't stopped. However, it came to a rock solid level where it had stalled in the past. Here and here. Now, for all, I wasn't really expecting that to bounce all the way up, but you never know, which is why I scaled out of the trade. It would have made a reaction at that point. And the reason being is there'll be a lot of traders taking opposing positions, but also taking profit at that point from this drop. So it's reasonable to assume that was going to come up. Didn't have to come up far because, well, oil's quite volatile. So that's what I was banking on. Now, depending on how much profit taking was going to be going on and how many people were going to decide to go long at that point, we don't know. Which is why I broke the trade. I took so much out, left a little sliver on to see if it would run on to that level, because that's what happens. They do gravitate to each other. But I looked at it, I used golden eye principles on it. The guys in the Scruffy squad will know exactly what I was looking for with the golden eye, and it did its job. It went straight to it. And the idea was to see if it would continue. So, happy days. Quite pleased with that. So I can now enjoy the rest of my night without worrying too much. Done my one trade that I need. Managed it the way that I needed to do without too much stress. And it's paid me. And that is what I'm trying to stress constantly. If you're thinking you're getting in and out of the markets over and over, and as soon as you finish one trade, you're starting to look for the next trade. What happens is you'll hit lucky and you might have a good run, 2 or 3 trades off the belt in a single day. But the last one will undo all of your good work. So you've heard me say it before, less is more. And I wish I could get that across. I genuinely do. I was asking the guys in the squad today about the 30-day challenge and one thing and another. And they kind of shied away from the question because I already know they will try and trade more and more. And I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink, sort of thing. When I built my accounts, that's how I did it. I didn't try any more than one trade a day. And it was a slow process. But after trial and error, because trust me, I lost a lot of money when I first started trading. Colossal amount of money. And it was because I was trying to be in the markets all the time. I tried to second guess the markets. And eventually I came to the conclusion that this is silly. If I can find one good setup trade it well, it will probably do better than the bank. That was my initial thought. Well, I do in a day what a bank will give me in pretty much a year at the moment, because the interest rates are so terrible. But that was where the thought process came from. What can it give me? And then from there it became a tangible thing. Okay, well, it's given me X, and X can buy me whatever I want, whether it's a meal, a lunch. Because if you're on a small account, you're not going to be buying a car off it. But you can buy your lunch off it every day. And that'll save you money at the end of the month. And that means you've got more pounds to spend on whatever floats your boat. It's kind of the way to look at it. Look at it as a tangible thing that you want. Even if it's a watch. Say you've seen a nice watch and it's £200. Trade up till you get your £200, buy the watch, wear the watch when you're trading, and every time you're looking for a candle to end and you look at your time, it'll remind you what trading is for. Trading is not to be in the markets. It's to get money out of the markets to make your life better or buy you a nice gift. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. If you want to answer any questions on your trading, by all means contact me. You find all my contact details below. If you want to see my trading in a transparent way, check the Scruffy squad out, because I go right through it with the hows and, more importantly, the whys of why I do trading. Because strategy is not your be all and end all. It's a lot more than that. And there's plenty of other links down there for you to check out, including discount links off the 5%ers, where you get 5% off your fees, and also decent brokers to check out as well. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all on the next one.